And here are some good references from the scriptures about the glories of chanting Krishna's names. Um, for instance, you'll find in the 6th canto, chapter 2, there are several important verses. Several very, very important verses. You would also find in another chapter there. Actually speaking, if you go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, you do find some very, very fine references. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted this: Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalau nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyatha. And here is a description of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsha Dam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. And here is Kali Santarana Upanishad, which quotes the entire mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Riti Sho Dashakam Nam Kalikalmashan Ashanam Natah Paratarupaya Sarvavedeshu Drishyate. These 16 names composed of 32 syllables are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. In all the Vedas it is seen that to cross the ocean of nescience there is no alternative to the chanting of the holy name. Kaler Doshanidhe Rajan Astihye Mahan Gunaha Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Muktasangha Param Raje. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. That's another similar verse that says that the effect of the Hare Krishna mantra, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, is the same as the effect of deity worship in Dwapara Yuga, which is the same as the effect of fire sacrifice in the age of Treta Yuga, and which has the same effect as meditation of the Supreme Lord in the Krita or Satya Yuga. Here is a statement from Narayana Samhita quoted by Acharya Madhva in his commentary on Mundaka Upanishad. Dwapari ye janair Vishnu pancharatraistu kevalai kalauta nama matrena pujyate bhagavan hari. In the Dwapara Yuga, one could satisfy Krishna or Vishnu only by worshipping opulently according to the Pancharatrika system. But in the age of Kali, one can satisfy and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari simply by chanting his holy name. And therefore Kali Yuga is very glorious. Etavaneva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmrta bhakti yogo bhagavati Tannama Grahanadibhi. Devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Tannama Grahana Adibhi. The first service to Krishna is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is spoken by Yamaraj. Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajanas who knows the secret. He knows the secret of devotional service. Etan nirvidyamananam ichchatam akuto bhayam yoginam nirpanirnitam harer namanukirtanam. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. And then Narada Muni also received a mantra which contained the holy name. And of course we have Shri Shikshashtaka by Lord Chaitanya, where he explains the nature of the Hare Krishna mantra. Rupa Goswami has stated the importance of chanting, and here is Padma Purana. This is quoted as it is in Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu and in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Bhinnatvan Namanamino. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Then here's Narada Pancharatra talking about the effect of chanting a mantra which contains Krishna's name. Trayo Veda Shadangani Chandamsi Vividhasura Sarvam Ashtaksharantastham Yachanyadapi Vangmayam Sarva Vedanta Sarartha Samsararanavatāranaha. The Narada Pancharatra states that the essence of all Vedic knowledge, comprehending the three kinds of Vedic activity, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, the Chanda or the Vedic hymns, and the processes for satisfying the demigods, is included in what is called Ashtakshara. Ashtakshara, in a mantra that contains 8 syllables. Now the Hare Krishna mantra also contains 8 syllables, and therefore Prabhupada has brought it up here. This is the reality of all Vedanta. The chanting of the holy name is the only means to cross the ocean of nescience. Yachanyatapi Vangmayam, everything is inside it. Everything else that is there in Vedic literature is inside it. And here is a statement from Brihad Vishnu Purana. I was quite surprised to note that this was also quoted by Acharya Madhva in one of his books, Krishnamrita Maharnava. Namno hi yavati shakti papa nirharane hare tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam pataki nara. Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. Here is Garuda Purana. Avashenapi yannamni kirtite sarvapatakai puman vimuchyate sadhya simhatrastair mrigairiva. If one chants the holy name of the Lord even in a helpless condition, or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of his sinful life depart, just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear. Aparna samsritim ghoram yannama vivasho grinan tata sadhyo vimuchyeta yad bhiveti swayam bhayam. Living beings are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Sakratucharitam yena harirrityaksharadvayam baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam prati. By once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of the 2 syllables Hari, one guarantees his path to liberation. And when we sing Hare, Hari is included inside Hare. So many other statements from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. On the basis of these statements, this is also the activity which is performed by one who has attained the highest perfection of life. And here's a very blissful verse by Srila Rupa Goswami, which gave great happiness to Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tunde tandivini ratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye karna kroda kadambini ghatayate karnarbudebhya spriham chetah prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janita ki yadbhiramritai krishneti varnadvayi. This is how Rupa Goswami feels when he chants Hare Krishna. So I just want to include it here, so that we understand how liberated souls experience the chanting. I do not know how much nectar the 2 syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. Mriyamano Hare Rama Grinan Putropacharitam Ajamalopya Gada Agadhama Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan. While suffering at the time of death, Ajamila chanted the holy name of the Lord, and although the chanting was directed toward his son, he nevertheless returned home back to Godhead. And therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where is the doubt that he will return to Godhead? Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevan mukhe hi jihvadav swayameva spuratyada. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Yasya smritya cha namoktya tapo yagya kriyadishu nunam sampurnatameti sadyo vandetam achyutam. I offer my obeisances unto him, the infallible, because simply by either remembering him or vibrating his holy name, one can attain the perfection of all penances, sacrifices, or fruitive activities, and this process can be universally followed. There are so many other verses, but I'll leave it for time being. But you can also have a look at Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto. You can have a look at 6th Canto, chapters 2, for instance. Here, these are all statements by the Vishnudutas, fully liberated souls. In helpless condition, Ajamil chanted the holy name of the Lord. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore is now pure and eligible for liberation. By calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of life. Sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Lord Hari. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully, this is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. We will come back to this later, when we are looking at Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And there is also one more chapter where the Lord's holy names is the potency of the Lord's holy names has been well defined. This is the very next chapter where the Yamadutas are conversing with Yamaraj, and Yamaraj also talks about this. Yamaraj first of all talks about his potency, then he talks as a Mahajana, then he talks about the Vishnu Dutas, how great they are, and then he sees this. Just see how glorious is this chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The greatly sinful Ajamila chanted only to call his son, not knowing that he was chanting the Lord's holy name. Nevertheless, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, he remembered Narayana, and thus he was immediately saved from the ropes of death. One is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of his qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, he will achieve relief from material bondage if he chants without offenses. Ajamil, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying, he merely chanted the holy name. And although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Narayan. So, it's the glories of chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, which contains the holy names of Krishna, has been stated in several scriptures. The Hare Krishna mantra is also indicated in the Chaitanya Upanishad, and there are many other places where it has been brought up. It is recommended in the Shastras that offenseless chanting of these holy names of the Lord can deliver a fallen soul from material bondage. The offenses of the offenses to the Lord's holy names should be avoided because they are self-destructive.